Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. rcktman checking in. Appreciate you being here. I'm recording this video at about 12:30 p.m. on Saturday, before the first NFL playoff game officially starts, but the video probably won't be uploaded until at least during, if not after the first game is already over, just due to having to edit it and all of that and make sure it uploads correctly. But just want to put that out there so that way you know. But what I'm doing today is I'm giving my predictions for the playoffs for the NFL's 2023 season, letting you know who I think is going to win each game and why, and ultimately giving my prediction for who's going to make it to the Super Bowl from each conference and who's going to end up winning it all. So I'll keep the intro short and sweet. Let's go ahead and jump into the video. All right, so I'm here at printyourbrackets.com. This is the website after doing some research that I just felt would be the best website to use for this type of video. So I'll be filling out my bracket on here. For the wild card round, I'll be doing the games predictions in order of when the games will be played. So we'll start with the 49ers Seahawks game since that's the Saturday afternoon game, and then we'll go through the rest of the wild card round in that order. But then for the divisional championship and Super Bowl rounds, I'll just be going by conference since it'll probably be easiest to do it that way. But with that being said, let's get into our first game. So our first game, like I just said a second ago, is the 49ers at home against the Seahawks. Now, I have a ton of respect for the Seahawks and the job they've done this season. They've had a phenomenal year compared to the standards that were set by everyone else going into the season. I mean, people thought they would be a bottom three team in the entire league. But Geno Smith having a career year, their offense finding form at the right times, the defense not being necessarily elite, but stepping up when they needed to. They ended up stealing the seventh seed away from teams like the Packers and the Lions, and I have a ton of respect for them for doing that. But with that being said, the 49ers are probably the single hottest team going into these playoffs. I mean, they're their weapons on offense are just astounding. They still have a top three tight end in the league in George Kittle. They have a top 10, borderline top five receiver in Debo Samuel. And oh, yeah, by the way, they added Christian McCaffrey in the middle of the season, and he has been lighting everyone up ever since he arrived in Santa Clara. So, with that being said, like I said, I appreciate and respect the Seahawks for the job they've done getting to this point, but I overwhelmingly have to go with the 49ers here. I just think that, especially the game being at home, again, their defense, I didn't even mention the defense at first. Their defense has been one of the best defenses in the entire league. Their offense is stacked. The only question I have with the 49ers is at quarterback, but I mean, Brock Purdy has grabbed this moment and absolutely ran away with the opportunity he's been given. He's been phenomenal, being a third string quarterback going into the year, both the top two options going down, he steps in and without missing a beat, continues the 49ers success, takes them all the way to the division title, ran away with that division. Yeah, I think the 49ers are the overwhelming favorites in this one. All right, so our next game, the Saturday night game, is going to be between the Chargers and Jaguars in Jacksonville. Now, the Jaguars also have been one of the best teams going into the playoffs. They kind of stormed back after a mediocre first half of the season. They've absolutely stormed back in the second half to steal the division away from the Titans. Trevor Lawrence looks phenomenal. Their receivers have been very good. They've had a solid running game with Travis Etienne, and their defense, though not elite, again like the Seahawks, they've stood up when they needed to, and they've only gotten better as the season has gone on. Now with the Chargers, they have Justin Herbert, who is always going to make them a threat. They did lose Mike Williams, confirmed Mike Williams will not be in this game due to a really unnecessary injury in their game last week against the Broncos. I mean, there was no reason for Williams to be out in the game in that position with the fifth seed already locked up. And I don't know what the Chargers front office was thinking, what their coaches were thinking, throwing out their starters in that game. But that's besides the point. My point I'm trying to make is that this game, I think, has the potential to be the closest game between any of these wild card round matchups, just because the Chargers kind of had an up and down season. The Jaguars, like I said, they've been really good in the second half, but they've had a mediocre first half. And honestly, I'm tempted to go with the Chargers here because I don't think that there's going to be a complete sweep of the wild card teams in the AFC, but the Chargers probably have the best chance of winning the game. But with Mike Williams out, their number two receiver out, I just got to give the slight edge to the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are ready to make a not necessarily deep run, but I think they're not going to be a one and done in the playoffs this year. They've looked really good in the second half. All right, and then our Sunday early afternoon game is between the Bills and the Dolphins in Buffalo. I'm not going to make this any more dramatic than it needs to be. The game is simply going to be won by Buffalo. Dolphins are going in without Tua at quarterback, and their offense just does not look anywhere near the same when Skylar Thompson is the quarterback. They just have no efficiency at all in their passing game. Their defense has been kind of letting the team down too in the last couple weeks. The Bills, especially after the scary traumatic injury to DeMar Hamlin, super excited to see that he is recovering. By the way, he's doing really good with this recovery and all the positive that's been coming out with his toy drive getting over $8 million donations and his t-shirt drive that he's doing with all the proceeds going towards the staff and doctors at the UC Medical Center. That's phenomenal. I'm super happy for him and glad to see that he's doing well. But back to the point I'm making is that the Bills, especially after that incident, have been rallying together even more as a group. They look terrifying going into these playoffs. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, probably one of, if not the single best quarterback and receiver duo in the entire league. Um, I just feel like the Bills are ready to make a deep run, and I don't see the Dolphins putting up much of a fight in this one. So I'm definitely going to go with the Bills in this one. And our Sunday late afternoon game is the Giants traveling up to Minneapolis to take on the Vikings. Now, I'm going to go up front right now and say this. I do not trust the Vikings right now going into this game. The Vikings have been very, very fraudulent, in my opinion. I've been very skeptical of them. They've had weeks where they look like world beaters, and then they've had weeks, especially recently, where they just don't even look like a playoff team at all. The Giants going into this game, I think, are the better built team overall. Daniel Jones has not been an elite quarterback by any means, but he's gotten the job done when he needs to. Saquon Barkley has been one of the better running backs in the league this year. Their defense has been surprisingly good. The Vikings, like I said, I just don't trust them. I mean, they're going into this game with their record being as it is, they have a negative 3 point differential. So that kind of gives you an idea of, you know, how inconsistent they've been as a team this year. So I think probably of any team in the NFC, any of the wild card teams in the NFC, I think the Giants might honestly have the best chance of winning their game. I say that even knowing that the Cowboys are playing the Buccaneers, I think the Giants are probably going to end up winning this one, and I think that people are going to be surprised by how well the Giants do in this game. All right, and then our Sunday night game will be the Ravens going into Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. As you can tell, I'm a Ravens fan. I have no optimism for this game at all. Lamar Jackson being injured, the offense without him has looked horrid over the last month and a half. They've lost some games that they should have probably won on paper easily. The defense, especially the secondary, has felt like it's been a turnstile more often than not. The only real positives on the defense that I could say are Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen. I'm super excited we got Roquan Smith inked to a long-term deal, by the way. But aside from that, on the defense, they've been very underwhelming this season. And like I said, the offense just has not been able to pull it together without Lamar in the game. Even if somehow he manages to play, he hasn't taken it down to football in game or in practice in over a month. So this one's going to be a massacre. The Bengals are just going to roll over the Ravens, and I hate to say that, but yeah, it's just the truth. It's not going to be even close. And yeah, like I said, this is probably honestly the least optimistic I've ever been about the Ravens going into the playoffs, and I'm not exaggerating. I have absolutely no hope for them winning this game at all. And then our final game, our Monday night game, is the Cowboys going into Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. Maybe a hot take, maybe not. I'm taking the Buccaneers. I gotta take the Buccaneers here. Um, Despite how bad they've looked, it's a matchup between two narratives that go against the Cowboys. One, it's the Cowboys in the playoffs, and two, it's Tom Brady in the playoffs. Those two combined just do not add up to a good time for the Cowboys. So I'm gonna take the Buccaneers, and I will laugh if the Buccaneers actually pull it off because it'll be the funniest thing ever to see the Cowboys melt down again, see Stephen A. going on first take and just absolutely grilling the Cowboys again. I would love to see that happen again. All right, so for the divisional and championship rounds, I'll start in the AFC and then move on to the NFC. We'll do it that way. Just I don't think it really matters, but we'll just do it like that. So our first matchup would be the Chiefs at home against the Jaguars. It's just going to be Kansas City. As good as the Jaguars have been in the second half of the season, they're not going to match up well against the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes Patrick Mahomes is him. He's probably the front runner right now for the MVP again. Despite losing Tyreek Hill, somehow he's still a front runner for the MVP, which is just goes to show how ridiculous of an athlete he is. Um, I just think the Chiefs will be the overwhelming favorites in that one. And then for the second and third seed, it would be the Cincinnati going. Cincinnati would actually be going to Buffalo to play against the Bills. This one actually would be probably. I think this might be the toughest one to pick. Um, because on one side you have Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins on offense, and then on the other side you have Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. I mean, you can't ask for a better matchup than that offensively. Um, I just because the game is in Buffalo, I think I would take the Bills. I think I would take the Bills in that one, but it would be an insanely close game, and I could see either team winning that game, and that game would be a phenomenal divisional game to watch. And then over in the NFC, you would have the Eagles taking on the Buccaneers. Now, the Eagles, I'm not the biggest believer of right now. They've had a tough time of it, especially when they've had a chance to lock up the number one seed. They just have not done it in the last couple weeks. I mean, they've obviously eventually ended up getting it due to no one being able to catch them, but they just have looked very human in the last, I'd say, 3, 4 weeks. But with that being said, I reluctantly think I will take them at home over the Buccaneers. If I could type, there we go. I think I'll still take them at home over the Buccaneers, even though it's Tom Brady in the playoffs. I just don't see the Buccaneers having enough firepower on offense to match up well against the really, really good Eagles defense, one that's been very underrated throughout the season as one of the best in the league, one of the best units in the league. Um, Jalen Hurts, if he's back playing, he's still been really good this season. They still have the 3 or 4 running back threat on offense, and then they still have a top five receiver in AJ Brown. So I think I will take the Eagles, even though it's probably a boring pick. And then for the Giants and the 49ers, I can't go against the 49ers. I just simply can't. They like I said in the prediction against the Seahawks, they've had probably the best end to the regular season of any team in the league. They're going into these playoffs probably the hottest team in the league, I think. So I do think, especially with the game being in Santa Clara, I think I'll take the 49ers all day in that one. And then our AFC Championship game. Now, they did already come out and announce that if this matchup was to happen in the championship round, the game would be played in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium um because of the no contest between the Bengals and Bills. It kind of screwed things up a little bit because both those teams were in the running for the number one seed, and the Chiefs ended up getting it. So this game would be played in Atlanta at a neutral site. Um, Chiefs and the Bills. Wow, that's a matchup for the championship game last year. Um, or not the championship. Sorry, that was the divisional game last year. That insane ending that I wish I could have seen in person, but I was at work during that game. Um, the Chiefs and the Bills. I gotta go. I think I think the Bills would rally and win that game. To be honest, they've like I said, the since the DeMar Hamlin incident, I think they've probably only become more tighter of a group. They have complete belief in each other that they can go all the way and win the Super Bowl. I'm gonna go with the Bills. That might be a controversial pick, but I gotta take the Bills in that one, despite how good Mahomes has been this season. I just think the Bills overall would be the better built team in that matchup. And then for the NFC Championship game, it would be the 49ers going to Philly to play the Eagles. I'm going to 49ers. I don't know. I like I said, I still don't know. I still don't feel comfortable with Brock Purdy at quarterback that he could take the team on a deep playoff run, but just overall as a team, I like the 49ers more than I like the Eagles. And that man, that's pretty much all I can say for my reasoning for that. So that's another probably controversial pick. Both number one seeds not making it to the Super Bowl, but I just got to go with the 49ers in that one. And that means that my prediction for Super Bowl 57 is that it'll be played between the Buffalo Bills and the San Francisco 49ers. I like both these teams a lot. I like the way that both teams are built, but I think because of the potential storybook ending at stake here, I gotta say I think the Bills pull it together. especially with all the narrative of their four straight Super Bowl losses in the early 90s. I think this is Buffalo's time to finally pull through and win one for their city. San Francisco, I think, is going to put up a fight. Like I said, their defense is one of the best in the league. Their offense has superstar potential pretty much everywhere, but I just think it's the Bills' time. I think that's what it comes down to. So my prediction is the Bills win Super Bowl 57. Let me know what you think. Let me know why you disagree. Obviously, this is just my opinion. I almost guarantee I'm not going to have this prediction correct at all, but let me know if you agree. Let me know why you disagree. Let me know who you think wins these games, who wins the Super Bowl. And one more thing before I end, just if you want to see me when I'm live, go to twitch.tv/rocketman0127, rcktman0127. Go follow me there. Come hang out with me whenever I stream. Say hi and chat. I really appreciate you being there and showing support. So with that being said, I'll jump off and hope you guys have a great one. And hopefully these playoffs are entertaining.